Now, when I said make a silo out of all of these, what I really mean is all three of them could be one silo, because you can see how little competition there actually is on these guys. Um, this is just not a necessary, look at 96,000 competing pages. When you're dealing with things that have so little competition, especially with your level of knowledge and skill, you can really target all of them together. Let's go view themes for this cluster. And let's do a refresher course. We're only on phase 2. Phase 3 is how we're going to define our search engine improvement synonyms and our theme defining synonyms and KGO, or keyword generation only. This is the most difficult part of using Kraken because it demands that you expand your mind into some pretty wide spaces, and you must understand how to swallow the market whole and how simultaneously technical search engine rankings use what we call search engine improvement synonyms to help you rank higher for fewer inbound links when you actually go for wider topics and themes. Okay, that may sound difficult, but I'm going to show you how to do that. But I want to remind you that we already know that this is not very challenging. Okay, because remember, back in phase 1, you should have been able to check each one of these out, either in phase 1 or in VOMA. Okay, for example, I did this while we were not on video. I created a particular VOMA for Edward Bach, and the reason that's important, actually I might have done that on video. I just wanted to let you know that just because you start out in VOMA with a bunch of stuff, okay, and they're all very, very wide and varied, and some of them have drills down into them and some of them do not, that's not going to be very accurate total search market value and the rest for the client. So you want to clean up this list before you present it to a client. But my point here is if you start to zoom into a conversation with a client and a topic becomes very clear, like Bach himself did for Doc Brent on Floralife, then you can go ahead and do a breakaway VOMA on that, where you're not really worried. Here it is, VOMA for Edward Bach, where you're not worried about all the different things that you can do breakaway after breakaway, and they'll all be quarantined to a single theme area. Okay, you can drill into them all day if you want, and that's kind of important to have the freedom to not mess up your charts and graphs until we get the new version of Kraken actually out. Okay, like Bach Remedy, for example, you can drill into that one. Okay, and then view all themes for this cluster, just like we kind of did on the original VOMA, the original Floralife VOMA was right here, VOMA Flower Essence. And remember when we had that whole conversation about Bach about 10 videos back? We just had Dr. Bach. If you decide to do a breakaway on a topic and give a topic its own VOMA, just for sake of clarity for yourself, just do it in a notepad. And in our old brainstorming, our original brainstorming sandbox, these are kind of the topics related to Dr. Bach himself those are pretty much the only ones we got into. So what I may have done, I didn't do it in this particular video series, but you can easily just do a breakaway if something is very serious and you don't want to mix the client graph up on phase 2, you just start adding those. Dr. Edward Bach. Continue. And there you are. View themes for that cluster. Add another theme, Dr. Bach. This is stuff that you might have done early on, had we not been so clear in what we were doing already. Okay, continue. And guys, it would have been fine to do this in phase 2 and just blow away the original term, which is Edward Bach. I find that the VOMA makes it easier, so you can have a nice, clean, pristine phase 2 to show the client. This is also a safe zone to drill into any of these to find more breakaways, because sometimes you get unique breakaways in one topical relationship that you may not get in the other. But more importantly, regardless of whether you do a VOMA within a specific topic, go to Edward Bach. You can check to see the value in all of them. You would have already, like I showed you a few videos back, gone to competitive analysis. And the competitive analysis would show you so about 11,000 inbound links with a 21% deep link on the Edward Bach. You want to go deeper, you just go do a mini white paper generator like we have already done. This is one place you could have done the mini white paper generator. You also could have done it in phase 1. And this will come back. I've also got a competitive white paper. If you haven't done one in VOMA, a good place to do it is also in the phase 1. Just click on it, you'll see I already have one there under Edward Bach. Competitive analysis. Do a quick analysis here. Click white paper. Do it in one place or the other, it's fine.